Dear student, today we will discuss the kingdom Monera, which actually consists of all kind of bacteria. So here if you look at Monera, let's go through the brief history of Monera. There were many scientists who contributed to the researches of bacteria. And Anton von Leeuwenhoek, he was the first one who saw the bacteria for the first time under microscope, and he called them as animalcules. Then Louis Pasteur, he proposed germ theory of disease, that is, the diseases were caused by microscopic organism. Here I would also like to discuss that Louis Pasteur was biologist, microbiologist and chemist, renowned for his discoveries of the principle of vaccination, especially for anthrax, and microbial fermentation and pasteurization. So we are going to read a lot about Louis Pasteur in later on in the chapters, and that's why he is known as a father of microbiology. Ehrenberg, he was the one who coined the term bacteria. Robert Koch, who is the founder of bacteriology, and he discovered anthrax disease cycle and bacteria responsible for tuberculosis and cholera. He received Nobel Prize in medicine because he gave the Koch postulates. So we'll go through in some other chapter about the Koch postulates. Then Edward Jenner, he discovered first vaccine of the world's smallpox vaccine, and he is known as father of immunology. So these were the great scientists who made a lot of research in bacteriology. Now let's understand here briefly what is microbiology. Microbiology, because students are often confused between microbiology and bacteriology, is the study of all living organisms that are too small to be visible with naked eyes, and this includes bacteria, archaea, viruses, fungi, prions, protozoas, algae, and so on. Okay, so now next is we'll just go through the kingdom Monera subdivisions. So mainly divided as archaebacteria and eubacteria. Archaebacteria are ancient bacteria which form the progenitor cell for all life. We have already discussed this in 3-domain classification. Then eubacteria, true bacteria, they are further classified as cyanobacteria, which are also known as blue-green algae, and several other subgroups of bacteria. Then if you see the general characters, so here I am discussing the bacteria in general. I am not discussing here archaebacteria. I am discussing eubacteria, or you can say I'll call it as bacteria because they have common characteristic. So if you look at the cell type, they are unicellular prokaryotes. If you look at the cell structure, they have cell wall which is made up of peptidoglycan. Then cell organelles are generally absent. Nucleus, true nucleus is absent, but there is some space in the center which is occupied by double-stranded DNA, which is present in the cell, and it is in direct contact with cytoplasm. Usually if you see, nucleus is in contact with nucleoplasm in case of true nucleus, but here it is in contact with cytoplasm. Now ribosomes are of 70S type. I will discuss 70S. What are 70S ribosome in chapter cell, and they are present, and certain chlorophyll pigments, especially in case of photosynthetic, they are present chlorophyll pigments. In heterotrophs they are not present. Then cell membrane has the enzyme of respiratory chain. Now we'll see where they are located. Now mode of nutrition: photoautotropic, chemoautotropic, saprophytic, parasitic. And reproduction by binary fission, especially asexual reproduction, and sexual reproduction by conjugation. So next is we will see the occurrence. occurrence, they are present everywhere. They are present in soil, water, air, and as a parasite in other living organism. And movement of bacteria is by means of flagella. Flagella is again a cell, you can say, structure. We'll discuss this in detail in chapter cell. Now let's see the structure of bacteria. Now if you look at the structure of bacteria, the outermost covering is actually called as capsule. Now capsule is not present in all the bacteria. The bacteria with the capsule are called capsulated bacteria. The bacteria without capsule are called as non-capsulated bacteria. Now this provides certain things to bacteria. We'll discuss. This is outer covering and it is made up of polysaccharide. The next layer is a cell wall, which is made up of peptidoglycan, teichoic acid, and several other chemicals. Then you see the plasma membrane. Now plasma membrane has specific feature. This is structure. Okay, this is structure which is called as mesosome, which is the infolding of plasma membrane. Now this actually forms the site for a respiratory enzyme, where the respiration can occur. You know that usually in eukaryotic cell the respiration occurs in mitochondria because it carries all the enzymes for the respiratory chain. But since mitochondria is not present in prokaryotic cell, so mesosome do the function of respiration. Okay. Then there are certain cell inclusions which are present: fat, protein, glycogen granules, and there are 70S ribosome. These ribosome, when they do protein synthesis, they form polyribosomes. And you can see nucleoid, which consists of double-stranded DNA. Cytoplasm is present. Now this feature, special feature of bacteria is the plasmid DNA. Now this plasmid is actually extra chromosomal DNA, not extracellular but extra chromosomal DNA. And actually this DNA, which is double-stranded DNA, which is present as a nucleoid, is actually chromosomal DNA, and this is actually extra chromosomal DNA. Now what is the difference between two? This nucleoid DNA actually consists of essential gene. Without this DNA, the bacteria cannot survive, whereas with the plasmid DNA, if it is not present, the bacteria can survive, because this does not contain any essential gene, but it contains certain extra genes which you can say provide some specific function to bacterial cell. We will discuss this, what all genes are present in the plasmid. Okay. And this has a tendency of self-replication. Means not necessary when cell division occurs, that time only it will divide, but it divide at any time. So it has an independent mode of replication, we say. Okay. Now there are fimbriae or pili, these appendages, short appendages, and they are made up of proteins. They help in the transfer of plasmid. Now let's discuss the plasmid. Now plasmid is a very complex topic, so I'll discuss here little part of plasmid which is concerned with the chapter. Later on we will discuss in the detail. Plasmid is actually extra chromosomal small circular double-stranded DNA molecule that occur in the bacteria and can replicate at their own. This is non-commonly present in archaebacteria and eukaryotic organism. Okay, so this is also present, you can say, in archaebacteria, but not in all the archaebacteria, not in all the eukaryotic organism, but it is present in bacteria, this kingdom Monera, in most of the bacteria. It was first identified by Lederberg. Now if you look at the types of plasmid, which is based on the type of gene that a plasmid contains. Factor stands for gene, so if the plasmid has F factor, then we say it is fertility plasmid, and the plasmid which contain F factor are called F positive, and the one which do not contain F factor are called F negative. Then we have the resistance plasmid which contain R factor, so these plasmid have the genes for antibiotic resistance. Okay. Now next is Cole factor or Cole plasmid, which contain Cole factor, and they have a gene for the synthesis or production of colicin. Colicin is a kind of toxic chemical which is produced by cell division. Now if you look at the plasmid, they are well exploited in biotechnology. When we will be dealing with biotechnology, you will come to know how important are these plasmids. They are acting as a vector in biotechnology, but you should know the basics. So now let's discuss the transfer of plasmid in bacteria. So there are three ways by which the bacteria can transfer the plasmid. Transfer of plasmid means one bacteria can transfer its plasmid to the another bacteria. So how they can do this? Three processes are there: transformation, transduction and conjugation. In transformation, the existing bacteria undergoes change that occur in plasmid and the bacteria transform to new plasmid. This was discovered by Griffith. Now what happens in this? There is one bacteria, its plasmid DNA will undergo some changes. Okay. Now this bacteria will have the new after going under the changes, this bacteria will have or acquire certain new features. So we will say the transformation has occurred in the bacteria. So this process is called transformation. We also have in our syllabus the Griffith experiment. So we will see how he was the one who discovered the process of transformation in bacteria. Another process is transduction. Now over here, the part of plasmid is transferred from one bacteria to another, okay, by virus. Either the whole plasmid or the part of plasmid, you can say, is transferred from one bacteria to another by virus. Now it is important to understand here that virus can infect the bacteria, and all those viruses which infect the bacteria, they are called bacteriophage, or commonly we say it is phage. So what they do, they infect first bacteria, they take their plasmid, they go and infect the another bacteria and transfer this plasmid to another bacteria. This was discovered by Zender and Lederberg. The next is conjugation, the transfer of plasmid from F plus to F minus bacteria by forming conjugation tube, which is called pili, and this process is also called sexduction. Now what happens in this? There is a bacteria which is called F plus. Okay, that means it has a fertility factor. Now it will transfer this plasmid to another bacteria which does not have fertility factor or plasmid. So it will form conjugation tube with the other bacteria and transfer. First it form the copy of the plasmid and then transfer one of the copy to the another bacteria. This is also called as sexual reproduction in bacteria, because F plus is called donor or male, F minus is called recipient or female, and the tube which is formed is called pili. Now this was discovered by Lederberg. Now let's see mesosome. They are invaginated convoluted structure of plasma membrane, contain respiratory chain enzyme. If you look at capsule, it is mucilaginous layer which is outermost to cell wall in certain bacteria, and this actually provide additional protective covering. So if the bacteria is capsulated, it can provide resistance against toxins, desiccation, and from the phage. Capsule presence also decide the virulence. Virulence means tendency to produce the disease. If suppose the bacteria is capsulated, then it can easily escape the phagocytosis from the host and it has a tendency to establish the disease. So this is called virulence. If it is non-capsulated, then it is easily killed by phagocytosis and it will not produce disease, so we say it is non-virulent. Right now this is all about the Monera. We'll continue with the Monera in next Monera part 2 in the next video. Thank you.